John chapter 9. And as Jesus passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. And Jesus' disciples asked him, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? And Jesus said, Neither has this man sinned, nor his parents, but that the works of God should be manifest in him. I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night comes when no man can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. When he had thus spoken, Jesus spat on the ground and made clay of the spittle, and he anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay, and he said to him, Go, wash in the pool of Siloam, which is by interpretation sent. He went his way, therefore, and washed, and came seeing. If you keep reading in John chapter 9, you find out that there's quite a drama that develops as a result of the healing of this blind man. Jesus healed him on the Sabbath day, and the Pharisees of the synagogue where this guy would have been a member, so to speak, wanted to know how in the world he had received his sight. When they found out that Jesus of Nazareth was the one that did this and that he did it on a Sabbath day or on a Saturday, they were extremely critical. And they rejected not only Christ, but they rejected this man, despite the fact that he could now see. And his parents, the blind man who is now a seeing man, his parents are also part of this same synagogue, and they are afraid of being put out of the synagogue as a result of association with their son, who is now associated with Jesus of Nazareth. There's only 3 observations that I want to point out from this particular section of the scripture, and I wish I had the time to read the entire chapter to you. Make sure you do read all of John chapter 9. The title of this lesson is While It Is Day. First observation from this little story of this little miracle is the light of the world. Jesus said, I am the light of the world. It's so interesting that he chooses this particular way to describe himself in a situation where he has healed a blind man. If you close your eyes just as tight as you possibly can, it doesn't really matter how close your hands get to your eyes. You can't tell how many fingers you're holding up. See, I keep hitting myself in the hat because I can't even see what I'm doing. There's no light coming into my eye gate when I do that. There's no light reflecting off of my fingers and onto the back of my eyes so I can see. Jesus says, I am the light of the world. He wasn't just the one who could give this man his physical sight, but he could give this man his spiritual sight as well. Jesus found the guy after he had been kicked out of the synagogue, and he said, Do you believe on the Son of Man? And the guy said, Well, who is he? Jesus said, The one you're looking at. I am the Son of Man. I am the Son of God. I am the Messiah. I am the light of the world. And he said, I believe. So Jesus was not just the light of the world for this guy and that he gave him his physical vision, but he gave him spiritual vision. He helped him to see the truth of who he was and helped him to see the error of the Pharisees. There's a cynical statement that the former blind man says to the religious leaders in his synagogue. He says, man, this is an amazing thing. You don't know who this guy is, and yet he has the spiritual power to give me sight. That says a lot about you guys. They were not too keen on that response. So 1, we have the light of the world, which is Jesus. 2, we have the blindness of the Pharisees. They were spiritually blind. It was both a curse and a choice for these guys. It was a curse. The God of this world, little g, had blinded their eyes and they couldn't see the truth. God had blinded their eyes. The old prophet Isaiah had forecasted, and David had forecasted, that they would be blind to the truth. It was a curse upon them because they had rejected God's authority for generations, the Jews had. But it wasn't just a curse, it was also a choice. Just like your sin nature and mine. I was born into sin. I was born a sinner. I inherited my sin nature. And in a sense, you could say, well, it's not your fault. I mean, you didn't have any choice there in the garden. No, but I've had millions of choices in my life. And I have chosen to sin many, many times. Who knows how many sins I've committed in my life? Hundreds of thousands. Their blindness was both a curse and it was a choice. The blindness of the religious leaders, the blindness of the Pharisees. The blind man could see that Jesus was who he said he was by the end of the story. The Pharisees never did get it. They realized what Jesus was claiming, they just didn't believe it. And then the third observation, we have the sight of this man, both physical and spiritual sight. By the end of this story, he can see the trees, he can see the people, he can see the sunrise, he can see Jesus, and he can see the truth, which is so much more important even than physical sight. I want to close with the title again, While It Is Day. The disciples said to Jesus, why is this guy blind? Did he do something wrong to bring this upon himself, or did his parents do something wrong to bring this upon their child? He said, neither one. This man was born blind so that the works of God could be revealed in him. And I must work the works of God. He sent me, and now is the time for me to work. While it is day. You know, Jesus has ascended back to the Father. But he has called and commissioned us to do the works of the Father. While it is day. Because the night is coming when no man can work. For you, the night is coming. The window of opportunity for you to speak into somebody's life may only be open for so long. The window of opportunity for you to minister, for you to serve, for you to be a gospel witness in any context is limited. You're not going to live forever on this planet. And the window of opportunity that we call the age of the church is closing. One day the rapture is going to occur, and the church of the living God is going to be called out of this world, and the Spirit is going to be called with us, and our gospel witness will go with us, and we will not be able to reach any souls for Christ again. Our opportunity is limited. While it is day, do the works of the Father. What is the work of the Father? Jesus made that very clear. This is the work of the Father, that you believe on the one that the Father has sent. Jesus convinced this man of who he was, and that was the whole point.